Okay, now let's talk about a few other things regarding technique. Number one, let's talk about embouchure for a second. So I use an embouchure that is more suited for jazz or pop and rock. If you're playing classical, you might want to do a different embouchure, but I'll offer both of them to you for your consideration. So often, if you start out on saxophone, they will tell you to curl your lip like that, right? Right? Gives you a very muted sound. That's great if you're playing classical music. I don't do that because I feel like it mutes the sound, and I want like a vibrant, resonant sound if I'm playing jazz or rock or pop. So I kind of flare the lip out a little bit, or you could also think I just let the lip hang out and do what it does. So my teeth are not touching the reed, but it's flipping outwards. So let me show you the difference. So first curl my lip. So I'm going to flip it outwards. I think you can hear the difference. It's a lot more resonant, a lot louder when you flip out like that. So yeah, from a side angle, right? That is the basis of what I'm doing with my embouchure. The other part of basically technique that we haven't talked about yet is your hands. I would say the most important parts of technique are air, your embouchure, and your hands. If you can nail those three right from the top, that's going to be a lot of things out of the way. So your hands need to be curled. Your fingers need to be curled. So kind of like this. That's the shape you want. So you have the two thumb rests on the saxophone, so that's where your thumbs will go. But your hands, basically, in both hands, need to be kind of shaped like that, like you're holding a ball or an orange or something like that, right? So both thumbs go in the thumb rest. When you're playing, your fingers are not going to move very far from the saxophone. Your fingers are going to really stay right close to the saxophone. You don't want to have it really far away, because then if your fingers are out here, you're going to have to move your fingers all the way back down. And that's not great. That's so much time you're taking. So make sure your fingers are right down next to the keys, right? That's what you want. And the other thing is that you need your wrists to be straight. This is really important. So you don't want your wrists to be, any kind of like that or anything, or you don't want them to be changing. Basically, you want your wrists to stay the same the whole time. If your wrists are changing while you're playing, that creates unstable finger technique, and your fingers can do a number of different things. So you want your wrist to be completely straight, which is difficult, especially in the left hand, because you're doing so many things with the left hand. But really, your wrist, whatever you do, the wrist needs to stay straight. So it doesn't really matter what your shoulders do necessarily. They can do whatever they want. But your wrists need to stay straight. So this, right? The wrists don't move. Whatever's happening, the wrists don't move. So if you think this is challenging, I have an idea and a possible workaround. These are tennis wristbands. You can check them out. Actually, I got the idea from Dave Liebman, famous sax player. So you put these on, and they keep your wrist straight, right? So you can try these out. Don't practice with these all the time, but if you're having trouble keeping your wrist straight, you can try those. A couple more pieces of advice regarding your hands. Your fingers should really stay on the mother of pearl. It's like that fleshy part of your finger. This part should really stay right on that mother of pearl. Should never leave. The other thing to realize is that every single key in this saxophone has springs. So you don't have to worry about putting in effort to come back up after you press the key, because the spring is going to push your finger back up, right? So actually you really don't need a lot of effort when you're playing, because everything will be relied on by the springs. Another thing is the left hand thumb. So when you're going between octaves, you want to make sure that you're moving as little as possible. The best way to do that is to put the first joint of your thumb right on the edge of your thumb rest, right? And then you're just going to reach over, press the octave key like that. That's the best way to really achieve that. That way, you're not really going to be moving much, and that'll give you the best control.